from Israel.
Thank you very much, Esther. Thank you, Alushka, for setting this up. And my name is Yoni Shapira. Viola, also thank you, and Kristen. My name is Yoni Shapira, and I'm the chairman of Moreshet Derech, which means Heritage Trail, Israel's incoming tour guide association. And thank you for letting us share the journey. We already did it. First presentation is September, and now I'm sort of doing a filler, what happened since September, if anything, till today. So I will, without further ado, head to the presentation and tell you a little bit about what Israel is all about, because Israel is a tiny country that has only 470 kilometers long, 135 kilometers wide to those who do the metric system. It has 9.5 million citizens. However, we have 4.5 million tourists in 2019. We estimate 3,000 incoming tour guides, although registered tour guides, we have over 8,000. And Moreshet Derech represents about 1,500 tour guides. You all know Israel more than you thought. And more than anybody here knows the other countries that we are on, primarily because, and this has to work somehow, because we have the Holy Land. And as the Holy Land, we have up here in the north, we have the Galilee with Nazareth, with the Sea of Galilee, Mediterranean beaches with the city of Caesarea that Herod built. We have Haifa, the city of Haifa, where the world Baha'i shrine is, the world center of the Baha'i faith. And Tel Aviv, which is one of the leading destinations for gay tourism in the world. We have in the mid-range is Judea and Samaria, where we have the city of Jerusalem. I don't have to tell you about its importance and holiness, but we also have the city of Hebron, where the patriarchs are, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their wives from the biblical period. We have the Dead Sea, the lowest point on earth, and the Judean desert, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. And down south, we have 60% of the country is desert, the Negev desert. We have the craters, a lot of geology, a lot of hiking, a lot of trails, a lot of outbound activity in there. And all the way at the bottom tip is the Red Sea, a tropical Red Sea. So we have from the north all the way to the snow slopes of Mount Hermon to the tropical sea. We have quite a diversity of activity. Israel now is the leading country in pandemic inoculation to the COVID-19. We have already over 2 million inoculations. I'm getting my second one this Friday. However, we are in total closure, and it seems that the inoculations of the first round are not working as we would have loved them to work. We had over 10,000 new COVID people in the last 24 hours. So this is not good. So let's go over the journey. When did we start? 15th of March is when we all stopped working. Basically, tourism went to a full halt worldwide because of pandemic. It took us a couple of months to get organized, get orientation, and understand where we are at. And by the 14th of May, when we realized that nothing is happening, we are not taken care of, the government is totally clueless and useless in moving things along, we had a major demonstration that we organized Moreshet Derech. However, we brought thousands of other people from different tourism industries. You could see the purple color dominating the park in front of the parliament, in front of the Knesset, and that's all Moreshet Derech t-shirts. So we started with that, which created, as a result of that demonstration, a new association of uniting tourism industries, where Moreshet Derech is only one of those industries. However, that didn't work too well, and by mid-June, we realized that things are not moving well enough, and one of our friends, Peter Gochvat, started a hunger strike in front of the Knesset. Very quickly, from one small tent, a few little tents joined. That turned into a little hut, and that became a meeting place for tour guides from Moreshet Derech, day in and day out, with 3 to 4 people at a hunger strike, up to 14 days, just drinking water midsummer. It's not easy. But everyone going to the parliament, because we were on the main road, was stopped and brought in, and We shared our information, and that started a whole movement of activity. However, it didn't really help us that much, and we'll get into it in a minute. So we started establishing committees. One of the most important committees of volunteers that started learning what are the laws and how we deal with unemployment. We met and they met with Social Security services and dealt with unemployment, which put us in an awkward position because we all freelancers, and by definition, we were not entitled to unemployment, but we helped over 750 people get some kind of compensation. But that was not enough. People were in dire straits. Couples that both of them are tour guides, mothers of young kids under closure, had no way of working, no way of getting money, did not have any unemployment. So we started a fundraiser, and we raised over $15,000, in which we handed out food coupons to those families that needed it. We provided over 350 sponsor food box, large food boxes per family, and free psychological counseling. Down below the picture, you could see that we also included Palestinian tour guides from East Jerusalem and from Bethlehem, providing them also with coupons and with boxes, contribution of our members toward that pool. It was important and created a strong bond with the Palestinian tour guides there, that eventually they'll join the World Federation. We created a committee of government relations. Because we were called into the Knesset, because we were meeting with members, we sat on Zoom meetings of the Economic Committee, Tourism, of Law and Order, different committees of the Knesset. We have managed to push forward and stop the annual fee that tour guides in Israel have to pay the Ministry of Tourism for renewing our license, and the need to renew the license for 2020. It's not much money, but it is still, when you don't have any, it's still something that we did not want to pay out of pocket. We are still fighting with the financial committee. We are on meetings. As a matter of fact, tomorrow morning, we are going to be on one of those sessions in Zoom where the government will be talking about a green passport. When will and if the skies will open up. The exposure was great. We got media, we got TV, we got radio. We were in committee meetings. We made a mark. People started realizing that we are a power that has to be reconciled with, talked about, and that was a very important thing. However, did it get us very far? Not really. What we demanded from the government is to establish a national fund for saving tourism. That did not happen. We asked them to put a fund together to retain, preserve, and serve the entire tourism industry, to jumpstart the tourism economy. And we brought our assistance as professional people from the field, because the people in the Ministry of Tourism do not necessarily know how the field works, and I don't have to share that with you. You know it very well. So one of the things that we asked is for money to put in to subsidize a bus and a tour guide. And our economics shows that if we put in $1 subsidy from the government towards a guide and a driver, the maneuver or movement of tourism, domestic tourism primarily, will generate $3 to $5 into the economy. It's a win-win situation. Obviously, this did not happen because we had a closure, but the government did allocate $3.5 million for the first stage. The first stage was only guides with private cars. That means we'll guide private tours of taking 20 people outdoors, 10 people indoors, but not into attractions, not into parks, not into sightseeing areas, because those are all closed. It would have provided, if it would have started properly, it would have provided 4 days per guide of guiding. So again, it's not a real solution. But the next stage is where we want the government to start pouring in $7.5 million to subsidize the bus and the driver when tourism will start. Because the idea is, when tourism opens up, when the Ministry of Health will allow us to move forward into the field, then we'll ask pensioner clubs, social clubs, workers' unions, in different languages. We have guides that speak 82 languages in this country, because we're a country of immigrants, and we have plenty of people in those languages that they can take them around, take them on a tour to enjoy the outdoors, nature, parks and so on, have a good culinary experience and so on. That will generate tourism economy. We also offered a plan to the Ministry of Education saying, take the guides. They are professional storytellers. They know the history. They know the things. Put them into the education system so you can relieve the situation of teachers, which cannot handle all the capsules and so on. That did not happen. However, we did manage to get 50 guides to be subsidized for full year of training as teachers, and they will enter the education system. Hopefully, we did not lose them to the tour guide industry, and another 100 guides or so are subsidized to become educational tour guides, which means they can work in schools, which is about a 3-month course. Where did we start? We started in January of 2020 with our GA, which we have next week, with 780 members. We are now with 1,287 members. We started
Excuse me, Yanni, we're to 1 minute, please.
We started with full calendar for 2020, and it ended up with not one day of guiding. The Ministry of Tourism has not been very forthcoming in sharing with us or putting us in round tables, a discussion of how to work things. So we are confused. We were confused then. However, now we have provide virtual tours, online lectures, seminars by Zoom, as you all are. No social benefits and unemployment. We are fighting for that. We had no real recognition as a workers' union, and now we have. We met with the Parliament, we have Ministry of Tourism, Prime Minister's office, and so on. So where have we started? No social benefits. We are working. No real recognition. 1 second, I was there. No government to work with. Our government is going in 60 days into the 4th election in 2 years. They're not handling the pandemic right. We are in chaos, and it's total confusion. International airport is closing tonight for 2 weeks or more. And I would say thank you to World Federation, to Wftga and the members for allowing us to share our story with you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Yanni, and thank you for staying within your time. I think we might have time for one question. Let's start with one. Wftga, do you have those questions, or Viola?
There's nothing at the moment. Esther, if you'd like to do the first sort of 3 presentations.